Hello everyone, I am Tacit, and today I'm going to be going over the Gems of War event objectives for the Salt and Claw event, in which the Raksha Swabbie is added to the game, as well as pretty much everything. So this week marks the 8-year anniversary of Gems of War, and gosh, did they do absolutely every possible event. So the order of this video will be a little bit different than normal, mostly because literally everything is going on right now. We have a Kingdom Pass, that's going to be going. That's $8 if you want to get the extended stuff. That's going to be going over the next several weeks. We have a new legendary troop in the event key drop table. We have Guild Wars going on. We have Tower of Doom going on, Purple Tower of Doom with a new weapon. We have a Legends Reborn event with 4 new pets. And of course, we still have the Mythic from last Friday that will be available for the next 4 days if you still want to go and get it. On top of that, we had Zenith from the previous Kingdom Pass. Finally become available. This was the first Mythic where you could get it simultaneously to getting the new Mythic. Zenith in the drop table, so Glory Gem Guild and VIP chest if you're still trying for that. Otherwise, do it after Friday if you want to just get a mix of Mythics. And on top of that, one other thing that I wanted to save around just to make sure I would remember to cover it is if we go over to Sea of Sorrows, there's another thing in the drop table. This was actually in the drop table as of Friday, but figured I mention it in this video as it is probably going to get moved more than if we just covered a random video on it. And that is, of course, well, if we can actually get the drop of it, is going to be helpful. There it is, the Clam Lasher. If you didn't end up picking up this because you were trying to save on gems from the previous faction events, you can end up getting it now. So that was available as of this Friday, so if you still need copies of it, definitely make sure to get it for another Kingdom Star for Sea of Sorrows. Anyways, let's start going over the normal pattern, and then we'll kind of double back onto absolutely every single thing that is happening for the anniversary, such as this free loot over here. 2 VIP keys and 50 gems, and we'll be getting some other loot on the final day. So yeah, pretty nice. Anyways, so let's start from the top, and start with the new troops that were added. So first things first, oh yeah, I forgot, it's not a drop table. So let's go over to event keys. So that one glitch, we're probably getting a patch on this Tuesday. If not this Tuesday, probably next week. But very likely this Tuesday, we'll probably get like 6.7 or 6.65 or whatever. But basically, we should be getting a patch soon that will fix a couple issues. One of those issues right now is the shops are kind of not working. This will be fixed probably within a couple of hours from now. However, as it currently stands, if you go click like Tower of Doom and click on shop if you ever want to load, you'll notice there's nothing here. Similarly, if we go to the menu we were just in, go to shop, go to, well, there isn't a tab for it. Go try it and get that. So currently the only way to get it is event keys. However, there's a reason to be opening event keys other than to get this. The reason is there's new legend in this drop table. So right here, Captain Saltclaw. He ends up dealing heavy splash damage to 2 random enemies. Keep in mind, this guy is only an event key drop table. Even once they fix the glory shop, this is still only in the event key drop table this week. And then it'll be in a drop table with everything else for about 4 to 6 weeks from now. But basically, as far as this is concerned, ends up doing heavy splash damage to 2 random enemies, boosted by blue gems at a 1-to-1 ratio. Overall, its damage is not too bad. Its main benefit is actually going to be as a finisher in a pure rogue team. You could even end up using this instead of Mother of Darkness. It's even a similar coloration to Mother of Darkness. So if you happen to not have that mythic, but you still want to run Rogue Spider, this is really good in that kind of team, because not only is it from Blackhawk, where you'll be running pure rogue anyways, with the 50% mana star from Captain McCall and all that, but you can still run the hero class, you can go run the Rogue Spider, get a bunch of mana for it, the excess purple goes into it. Every single time you take an extra turn, all rogues gain magic, which is your entire team at that point, and then boom, you get a lot of value. So overall, looking to be kind of decent, mostly as an alternative for Mother of Darkness and 4 times Rogue. So that team no longer needs a mythic. You can simply use this legend and you're good to go. So if you've been meaning to try that team, well, you can now with Captain McCall. The other one that we have here is the Raksha Swabbie. You will be able to get this later for Glory. However, at this current moment in time, you cannot get it for Glory, but it will be available in about a couple hours from now once they fix that. Anyways, it deals some damage to the first enemy or gives a bunch of life to the first ally. If Captain Saltclaw, which of course is the troop we were just going over, is on the team, it also creates 9 blue. For the most part, you're pretty much never going to want to use this. There's already better rogue synergies out there, and you don't want to put this onto your team as there really is no room for it. The amount of value you'd get from having the Rogue Spider on your team is substantially higher than what you would get from having a Raksha Swabbie, basically meaning this thing is pointless other than just to have it for, another star for a kingdom. Even if this was in power, I'm pretty sure it still wouldn't end up getting used. So, unfortunately, pretty much just a useless troop. However, this guy's still situationally useful, but only in 4 times rogue teams. Anyways, that's the start of the event queue drop table, I guess. Let's go over the full event queue drop table, as that's mostly just to show the 2 new troops. However, of course, there are other things within Blackhawk. Where on earth is Blackhawk? There it is, Blackhawk. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was called the Blackhawk, because some of them are like that. Anyways, let's do it by this. Do it by base rarity. Click show all in case I'm forgetting something. And here we go. Okay, so as far as the event queue drop table is concerned, it's not too bad. As far as what is not in drop table, the things that are not in the drop table include just the 4 faction troops, it looks like, so that's not too bad. As far as what's actually in the drop table, a couple pretty good things. Kraken, while not used too much in the current state of the meta due to it getting nerfed a couple times, it is still decent with its Blue Creation and Devour. Skyla, a really good Skull Spammer, oddly enough in Soulforge as well, but I would advise getting it through event keys instead, as you're probably going to want to open it anyways to get the new legend. But what she's used for is not her ability, but more so her Storm. Hopefully a better troop eventually gets a similar Storm, but she ends up creating a Bone Storm on 4 or 5 times matches. This is pretty good, most notably for Zugoff and a few other teams that really want to have Skull Storm and need a way to just passively apply it onto the board. Very situational as far as when you use it, but very powerful into teams that do end up using her. Hopefully a better troop will have this into the future. At this current moment in time, she's pretty much the best that can utilize it. Captain McCall, I just mentioned this earlier, 50% Metastar for rogues, pretty much required if you want to run a 4 times rogue team. Honestly, both the 2 mythics here, kind of decent. Sakharok's really good mana accumulator, really bad against freeze. However, once you get it going, and assuming you're not frozen, can pretty much just infinite onto any color, particularly blue, brown, and green, which is very noteworthy with Truffle, Beatrix, and similar options that can pretty much just loop already on their own and have even more of an option. It also has Impervious, which comes in handy pretty well, as it does not like to be frozen. And we also have Megavore, also with Impervious, and he's still the best way to tier armor in the entire game. He tiers all enemies' armor, and then does a bunch of damage to a single target. It still has effectively one of the highest damage for a single cast as far as its first cast of almost anything in the game, since it could theoretically do around 4,100 damage or so, assuming the whole enemy team had like 1,000 armor. But it's still the only thing to this day that could 4 times tier armor. There are loops that can do it, like, Rope Dart with an infinite mana loop. However, he's the only one that does it in one singular cast, so he still has value there. One other thing that's pretty noteworthy is he has an 8% insta-kill to hit the last enemy, so every single time you take an extra turn, there's just a very small chance you'll just get a free kill out of it. Very rare, but very, very strong when it comes into play. Aside from that, there's a few good empowers here. Like First Mate, Axe Blubber, Scurvy Sea Dogs, things you'd pretty much only use for Guild War, but still relevant nonetheless. And yeah, overall, I would say pretty decent week to open up event keys, especially since there's a new legend anyway, so you'd probably be opening at least some of them. But overall, entire drop table is not too bad, so good time to consider opening some. Anyways, so in other news, where on earth should we even start with the rest of this? So let's start in the Guild tab, where these are more standard as far as what we're having this week. So we have Guild Wars and Tower of Doom. Guild Wars, pretty straightforward. It's the same Guild Wars as always. With how many events are going on this week. Oh wait, are we not registered? Is there a glitch? I'll click a register. We should be registered. It's still early in the reset, so let's see. Yeah, it seems like it's going fine. But anyways, don't forget to go set your defend teams. Make sure to use a 4 of the same color whenever you're fighting offensively. Like, for example, on PC Mobile, we'll have to do Brown Day tomorrow and Tuesday. Just make sure you use the correct colors. As far as defend, you can set them as any colors, but however, all of them need to be unique. The main way you know if they're all unique is if this number down here says 12,000 when it ends up going here. So as you can see, boom, 12,000. Just make sure if you have teams saved to actually make sure that they're on the correct corresponding one, as it does not auto-adjust, and you do have to auto-adjust to yourself as we are right now to make sure that all of them match up. So if you have the team saved for that, just make sure you have them set correctly. Anyways, Guild Wars is the same as it's always been, so nothing different there. Tower of Doom, we do have a new Doom weapon here, though, as I mentioned, the shop is not working. However, I could still go show the weapon. As far as this game mode, still plays the same. You basically want to report back to your guild all of the correct rooms. This might be a little bit hard to do initially, since, well, you can't get more sigils at the moment until they fix this in a couple hours. However, once that is fixed, of course, report back all the good rooms, fireballs, heroisms, and anything else that you want to report back. Obviously, unlocks to end up moving forward. And basically just make sure your guild knows what all the good rooms are, and just move forward from there, as every single time you do a room in Tower of Doom, it consumes 1 entire sigil. So you don't want to do it like you do Underworld, where you go and take out the entire floor. You simply want to take as minimal rooms as possible, just taking the higher value rooms. And while it is different per guild, it is the same across your entire guild. So all 30 people in your guild will have the exact same room, so that's why you can report it back to them. But it only works specifically within your own guild, as a different guild would have different options there. Anyways, that's some of the more standard events. However, we have a billion other things. So you may see a little blinking exclamation point over here. And this is a Kingdom Pass. Oddly enough, this is the first Kingdom Pass for an already existing kingdom. One thing to note about here is there's one slight smaller amount of value as far as this pass is concerned. and that is we did not get a new pet. I'm not sure if this is a mistake or just what they're intending to do for this. However, it does not seem like we have a new pet for Broken Spire in this regard, probably because they already added a billion other pets, and they didn't want to add a billion one more pets because they also have the Legends Reborn thing, where we're getting 4 more pets. However, that might be the case, but basically we're just getting Minion Furnace, which is one that a lot of people probably already have maxed. However, you're still getting a bunch of other loot. So there's a free side and a paid side. Free side's on the left side. Paid side is on the right. Paid side costs $8 or regional equivalent, and of course the left side is free. You get 1 copy of the troops, except for the legend on the left side, as well as a few other goodies here and there. Do keep in mind, this one has notoriously been money locked, whatever the final one is on the free side. Broken Spire already has a money locked weapon, so this might not be money locked into the future. However, so far every past Kingdom pass has had this one be money locked into the future. So do make sure if you're on the free side to finish it out, as you'll be able to go get this weapon. Aside from that, as far as unique things on the paid side, you will end up getting a bunch of additional resources, some deed books and stuff like that. No unique pet this time. However, you will get enough copies to max out every single one of these newer troops, which isn't really too big a deal, but you know, you can get the max a little bit earlier than a free-to-play would. The free side still ends up getting a copy, but it's way further down. Like, for example, the first time you get a copy of that guy on free side is not there. That's a different one. Is all the way down at somewhere, right here, at 35, and then the other one's at 45. But it does give you enough copies to max them. Aside from that, as far as unique loot that it ends up having, it has this weapon here, the Slashing Embers, which has a really weird ability that I'm not quite sure how that even works. Convert all gems in an upwards or downwards diagonal? I'm not sure exactly how that will work, if it's like either or if it's the one that does like less of them or something. And aside from that, you would also get the Ace of Wands, so you don't have to worry about them in the Vault Key drop table later. It's not really doing anything too useful. Actually, that's not true. It gives a bunch of magic to an ally. Is that based on magic, though? Wait, hold up. I think they forgot to magic scale this, because it doesn't have a purple number here. Because if it's only giving 1 magic to an ally, that is very bad. But if it's giving magic scaled based on, like, half its magic, like 1 plus half its magic, that would not be that bad, because with all other bonuses, that's like 20-something magic that you can end up giving. So if that's what it will actually do, that's not too bad. It could be an alternative magic gainer on red teams. However, they forgot to scale it, so hopefully it'll fix that a little bit later. And aside from that, unless it's supposed to be like that, in which case it's very useless. And of course, the legend. So this is basically the Zenith of this Kingdom Pass. Zenith, as I just mentioned, we covered a video on it yesterday. End up coming back into the drop table recently, with this mythic being the first time that you could get it with synergy on keys. You know, if you're opening Glory Gem Guild or VIP chests just only when a new mythic comes in. And this is basically the first mythic that had overlap with it. And this guy's kind of the same. He won't be available until 4 to 6 weeks after the pass concludes, which is basically 2023 at this point, as far as when that would end up rolling around. But he's kind of going to be in the same situation as Zenith as far as when you'll end up obtaining him. So he probably won't be available until like the February Mythic if you're looking to only do it when the Mythic comes out at the beginning of a month as far as opening your keys. So gotta wait a little while for him from free to play, or if you want more than 1 copy of him. But he deals some damage to an enemy boosted by burning gems and burning allies and burning enemies. Wait, burning allies and burning enemies? Interesting. And instead of 3 times boost ratio. Overall, not really that useful. It does get to create a burning gem when its turn begins, but that's also not very useful because there's already a mythic that does it better. So overall, nowhere near as good as Zenith. But yeah, it looks pretty bad. There's already a goblin mythic that basically does that way better from Zhejian. So I don't really see a reason why you would necessarily want to use this as an option. I don't even like that one from Zhejian, but at least that's like way superior than this guy here. So overall, it's mostly just a handful of loot. This is probably the most skippable Kingdom Pass we've had to date. So if you don't want to spend the $8 for it, is definitely on the more skippable end, especially with the repeat pets. And overall, not too good of options, but you're still getting deed books, you're still getting deeds, a few other loot here and there, and you get early access to some of the features as well, or, you know, some of the new troops. Anyways, aside from that, there's just one other thing that we have. Next one we have is Legends Reborn. So, of course, we have a Legends Reborn event this week. This ends up adding 4 new pets whenever one of these come. All 4 of them are for Broken Spire, which is probably why we have a repeat pet on the Kingdom Pass, because we're already getting 4 from here. So the first one, and honestly, all of them are good for once. This is probably the first time we've had a Legends Reborn where I would say all 4 of the pets are actually usable. So this very first one is for Flame Troll. Flame Troll is a blue-purple troop that doubles all red. Not too bad. Not the best troll out there. I would say that's probably Farce Troll with the brown-blue into doubling green with Entangle with skull reduction. However, this isn't bad. There are situations where you can use it, particularly with Titan. So overall, yeah, you get that one absolutely for free just from completing out the little storyline there once again, 5 times over. The one that you get super for free is the really useful one, Ogress. Ogress is that one troop that's used for Bounty Hunter, that one brown-green. I sometimes use it for Guild War as well, for brown Guild War occasionally. instead of like a Gorgoltha or something similar. So yeah, it's a really good bounty hunter option, and it gains 5 to all stats now. And you get that 100% for free just from killing 300 reds, I believe it is here. Oh, sorry, brown. From killing 300 browns, which obviously over the next 2 weeks will be very easy to end up doing. Also, I forgot to mention that the Kingdom Pass ends up lasting for 35 days, so for 5 weeks then. And this one lasts for 2 weeks, the Legends Reborn event. So that'll be going on for that long, which is plenty enough to get 300 kills, of course. So the next one here, for 1,350 gems, you can get this next one, and this is Shegra. So Shegra has kind of fallen off the meta, especially with Lord of Slaughter and other similar things added to the game. However, it's not a bad skull spammer. It's a 14 mana cost brown-red that converts all reds plus 6 into skulls, and then you just do a bunch of skull damage. Also has like some double damage on the burning. However, the main thing that makes it not really that relevant is, of course, we have triple damage burning on hero, and normally you're just using a triple damage burning rather than double damage burning on any of the troops that do double damage. So there's better skull spammers out there, but hey, it having 5 more to all stats is at least a benefit, if nothing else. And lastly here, we have ourselves the Inferno Imp, which is a very interesting one for Infernus. So Infernus is a mythic that is really well-rounded, one of the more well-rounded mythics in the entire game. It has kind of fallen off in the current meta a little bit, just because it's so well-rounded that it's not optimal for much. However, it does still have the best burn in the game if you're not using Zugoff. Just simply take an extra turn, you get 4 times burn. And it does a little bit of everything. It has a storm into itself, it has a mana accumulation, has damage that gets past Submerge, has a nice spread amount of damage, it can focus damage. Overall, it's not that bad at all. And it having 5 to all stats could bring it from being kind of mediocre to actually being used a bit more again. So it'll be interesting to see exactly how that pan out. Unfortunately, this is the money-locked pet, so you'll have to get into the future if you're lucky not to spend any money. But however, it will be available pretty much as soon as this event ends in 2 weeks. So if you get lucky enough, you will be able to eventually find it within the drop table, and then you can spend 2,500 or so gems to max it out, or simply slowly get it upgraded over time in a couple weeks from now when you go find it. That should be pretty easy on the next Vault event as well, which we have in about a month or so from now. Anyways, speaking of that, any other events I should be going over? Anything else I'm forgetting of? Or can we start going into the weekly stuff? I think I could start going into... Oh, no, there is one other thing. So, there's no campaign, luckily. We already have enough things to do. However, one thing we do have, though, is we're going to be getting a special Gems of War anniversary thing on an adventure board every single time. Every single day. This is generally Imperials most days, so sometimes they throw down gems, sometimes they throw out VIP keys with like the 10 gem keys. What exactly we'll get will likely be like 6 days of Imperials, with like one other day being maybe like gems or keys or something similar. So make sure to claim this every single day as you would with all your other things on adventure board. Quite a bit of gems today. But we'll be getting basically a bunch of deeds off of this, and maybe one other special one near the end of the week. So we have that, and also don't forget, similar to that, don't forget to claim your free anniversary one today and on the final day, as far as that. Anyways, so let's start going into all the other weekly things we have. So, we haven't even gotten to this yet, gosh. So, this Tuesday, a pretty standard event, we have ourselves the faction event for the Black Heart. Wednesday, we're going to be getting the 8th anniversary pet. Of course, it's the Gems of War 8-year anniversary. It's why we have all this stuff. We'll be getting the cosmetic pet for it. It is purely cosmetic, but definitely make sure to pick it up, as I don't believe a single one of these has ever returned, because, you know, they just run for the current year, and I don't really believe they have, other than for money. But yeah, definitely make sure to end up picking up then. This Thursday, we have the Corsair hero class, which is the rogue hero class, plus 3 blue. Pretty decent. It's used for 4 times rogue teams, which of course we have slightly more options to due to the new legend that came out this week. Overall, not the best hero class, but situationally good and primarily used in 4 times rogue teams. And this Friday we have ourselves a invasion event. So this invasion event is, you know, just standard invasion event, nothing really too special with that, and you'll just be able to get a little bit of extra loot from there. Also, while I didn't mention it, we'll probably also be getting a patch on Tuesday that will be fixing some of the things like the shops that constantly keep breaking on Monday mornings and stuff like that. So hopefully that'll be out this Tuesday. If it's not this Tuesday, it's probably next week's Tuesday, but there's a good chance it is this week's Tuesday. Anyways, as far as the Soulforge, troops are pretty ignorable. Not really too relevant here, unless you're just looking to get something for completion's sake. Most of the actual options here just don't really do much. Even Perpetual Blue, which is something that is normally kind of useful, is on a very useless troop, so you just don't really get to use much. And it summons a even more useless troop, Queen Mab, that used to be very meta, but is very much not so in the current state of the game. Aside from that, there's a pretty relevant weapon to end up picking up, and oddly enough, it is Rose's Pistol. So this is the first time you can end up picking up Rose's pistol. So Rose's Pistol is one of the weapons that was added, I believe, version 6.2 in February or something earlier this year. and this is the first time that you've actually ever been able to go and obtain it, at least for free anyways. So it doesn't really do much, just deal some true damage. If Bonnie Rosen on your team also gained a bunch of gold, it's just, you know, a weapon. But it's the first time the weapon has been available for free, so definitely make sure to do so. We were actually only missing one other one. It's for Silverglade, and that will be available later this month. I forget the exact date, which I could check right now, because I believe it was the second to last. It's either the 21st or the 28th. I cannot remember off the top of my head, but one of those two dates is the date of when you'll be able to get the 6th one. As there were 6 weapons added in that one patch, and we now have 5. And the very 6th one for Silverglade will be available in a couple weeks from now. Lastly, do not get this from Soulforge. However, we also have the Doomed Chris. This is the one that you get from Tower of Doom. If you want to get this from Tower of Doom despite a tier 4 when the shop is working again, which it should be in several hours from now, it's a completely useless weapon. All the daggers that are coming in through the Tower of Doom, not really that good of a category. Main Doom weapons, of course, if you're looking for one, are the full AoE ones that convert into Doom Skulls, or the books, which you've probably seen in every Guild War, including this Guild War later this week. Those are the main two you really want to prioritize. Stuff like this is just very underwhelming. You still want to get it for completion's sake. However, there's not really much point in upgrading it, as it's essentially a waste of resources due to how hard they are to get. And you would definitely prefer to get it for 500 gems rather than getting it Soulforge, as it comes out to more overall value, plus you'll be able to help your guild get the Tower of Doom event completed. Anyways, is that everything? I think that is everything. I hope I did not miss something, because gosh, is there a 1.5 billion events going on this week. But anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful 8-year anniversary for Gems of War then. And I will be covering a teams video very shortly, just going over teams for the various modes, of which there are a lot of. However, there's surprisingly not a lot of teams that need to be done, despite there being a lot of modes that are going on this week. But anyways, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful week. Happy 8-year anniversary of Gems of War. Definitely feel free to leave a like on the video. Helps out a lot and is greatly appreciated. And I'll catch you guys for another year of Gems of War. Catch you guys later. Bye, everyone. Thanks for watching.